So reap what you sow. Future consequences are inevitably shaped by your present actions, and Kanan's actions definitely had consequences in episode 2 of Raising Kanan, with one of his best friend's death, D-Wiz. Something I'm going to cover in 2 separate videos across today and tomorrow, because there's a lot I want to talk about, especially with Detective Howard, Lulu killing Wiz, how it could all potentially change him going forward, and Breeze was mentioned a lot in my comment section, so I thought let's discuss Breeze too. So we're diving deep into quite a few topics, mainly surrounding Lulu and D-Wiz's death of course, and this video is going to be all about your comments and what you guys thought, so I'm going to tie my thoughts and opinions in with your comments. But if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Universe related over the coming months. So let's start with that kill, and I'm going to come to Breeze in just a moment, but I want to talk about Wiz, and I'm sure you guys want to hear my extended thoughts on it too, so I'm going to give it to you. I said in my review and recap that Lulu definitely didn't want to kill D-Wiz. Terrell Mackay said something similar in the comment section too. Now I knew that D-Wiz was going to be the one who was going to be sacrificed. It just made sense with the storyline and giving Kanan a close death, one of his own, because he needs to experience something like this, but I sure as shit did not expect it to be Lulu. Now this was the shocking element of the episode, and I don't think he did either, but this is why Kanan's narration told us, if you want something done, Uncle Lulu will get it done, and he'll get it done right. But I want you guys to look at this scene right here. Just look at Lulu's face. Does this face tell you that he's someone who wants to kill this kid D-Wiz? You tell me if this is a man who wanted to pull that trigger. And this was the sad part of the episode. There's going to be some conflicting opinions, but I really didn't think they needed to do D-Wiz like this. Now Noria said, the irony in giving someone the best night of his life and then proceeding to make it their last. Raising Kanan gotta be the coldest show in the Power Universe. And the thing is, Raquel gave him no choice, because she was willing to do whatever it took to protect Kanan. And I really do think this is going to change Lulu. I think about the video I made during the Power Off season about Roller. What if Roller was still alive? Some of you may even remember the video, but this was a death at the early stage of Power which changed Ghost. You talk about Ghost having to kill Roller because he had no choice, but that ultimately turned him to alcohol and drinking again, and I don't know if Lulu's going to turn to alcohol, but it's definitely going to have an impact on him. Maybe he realizes that he wants to chase the dream with music, but let's see how it impacts Lulu in the long run, but I do think it's going to have some blowback. Now there were quite a few of you who said killing D-Wiz was definitely not a good idea, with Incognito saying killing D-Wiz was definitely not a good idea, and he gave a couple of reasons, which were D-Wiz being like a brother to Kanan who stood by him no matter what. He was only looking out for the Thomas family, and D-Wiz could have made a perfect soldier for Rack's organization because he's loyal, and killing D-Wiz was just a short-term fix because we don't know who his brother is, and I couldn't agree more. Killing D-Wiz is definitely a short-term fix because he's mentioned his brother who's just come out of prison. Now Eben Stifler said, don't you think D-Wiz's brother that just came out can cause some problems? And of course he can. He's going to cause huge problems for the entire Thomas family, and someone will eventually have to pay. The 2 guns belong to his brother who they haven't named yet. And is this the introduction to Breeze? Now I felt I had to bring this up because there were so many people in the comment section who brought up that D-Wiz's brother could actually be the man we're all waiting to see, and that's Breeze. What if Breeze retaliates for his brother D-Wiz and kills Lulu by Kanan giving him up this season? Breeze is D-Wiz's brother and he's going to take someone out close to Kanan, possibly Uncle Marvin. And a few more comments that I'm going to pop up who also mentioned that Breeze could be D-Wiz's brother. But what do we really know about his brother apart from he just came out from jail from upstate and the 2 guns used to kill Buck belong to him? Now I do think we'll see Breeze at some point. 50 himself teased this happening later on, but I genuinely don't think it's going to be so soon. And if D-Wiz's brother is indeed Breeze, then I don't think we'll see him for a while. It's a storyline they could even revisit later. It doesn't necessarily have to be even this season. Now only time will tell if it is Breeze or not, or whether he is connected to Breeze, but one thing that I can definitely see happening is Kanan being drawn closer to D-Wiz's brother sometime in the future because of his love for Wiz. He was Kanan's brother, down for whatever and whenever, and he's definitely going to feel this loss. Now this is Kanan's first loss that he's going to feel, but Daryl Wilson put a different spin on the situation and said he didn't expect Lulu to kill D-Wiz, but he doesn't think D-Wiz's death will be Kanan's breaking point. He said he thinks the breaking point will happen when something happens to Marvin. Now I fully expect Marvin and Kanan to grow closer over the coming episodes and seasons, hopefully, if Marvin lasts that long. Now I mentioned previously that we'll see this father-son type of relationship with Marvin and Kanan because Kanan is missing this type of figure from his life, and what's going to draw them even closer is the death of D-Wiz. And Rashawn Stewart said Kanan is going to draw closer to Marvin because he's going to see that Marvin would never have done that shit to D-Wiz. Loyalty means something to him, and I'll be honest, I couldn't have said it better myself. Let's rewind it back to episode 1 during this scene where Marvin said never give up on your family, and this is the type of person that Marvin would have been if he was asked about the whole situation with D-Wiz, and probably why Raquel and Lulu never brought him in on the decision because they always have conflicting opinions and they're always fighting. But this whole situation with D-Wiz could genuinely bring Marvin and Kanan even more closer together because loyalty definitely means something to Marvin, and he's going to feel that shit, no doubt. He'll have something to say about it to his two siblings too. And then it comes back to the full rewind to Darryl Wilson's last point in his comment where he said he doesn't think his breaking point will come with D-Wiz's death, but his breaking point will come when something happens to Marvin, because he'll really develop a close bond and a relationship with his uncle. Now I definitely think come the end of Raising Kanan there are going to be a few characters that remain alive that could tie in with the wider Power universe, but I just think Marvin being this aggressive, ruthless and a loyal character that he is, I just don't think he's going to make it out alive, and it's sad to even think about it, but this is Power, this is the game. You either end up dead or in jail, so which one is it? Or could it even be Lulu? Now Damien said that he thinks at some point Kanan will go against his family, because maybe he just doesn't like the way business is being handled when it comes to D-Wiz, and the earlier comment that I put from JA said something similar, and my opinion on this I think is definitely a possibility, and it is hard to see right now because of his love for his mother Raquel, and I don't think he's going to go against his family just yet, but then you think about how he's so close to Duke, and he also killed her in Power. So let's wait and see if he goes against his family. But let's move on and talk a little about Detective Howard and the angle from KP the G, who said 1. He knows the game. He knows the game doesn't change, the players do. So the evil you know is better than the evil you don't. And having one king or queen pin makes it easier on him to know what's going on in the streets and establish some sort of order or control. And number 3, his streets connections are going to help him move up in the ranks to captains or something, since he goes where many law enforcement peers can't and get information on things they would never be able to get, and that makes him valuable. Now I felt like this was a really good point again that had to be talked about, because Detective Malcolm Howard is someone who's been around the block for a while. He knows that Raquel took over from High Post, and since then the players have changed, but the game hasn't, just like KP the G mentioned with her first point. He doesn't like how Raquel is playing the game, and this is why he sided with Unique for the moment. He's a selfish character, and he knows whether it's just Unique the king or Raquel the queen pin in charge, it makes his life easier, and more importantly it makes his life easier to gain control. Now I think at some point we're going to dive deep into Howard's past. Now I personally don't think he's Kanan's father or anything, but he's definitely someone that could have potentially worked with Kanan's father Defcon, and he maybe had some sort of relationship with Raquel, and then when Defcon was taken out of the picture, Raquel fell madly in love with High Post. Now I think there's something that needs to be explored with the whole situation with Howard, Defcon, Raquel and High Post, and what happened in the 1980s, and I think we're soon going to start to understand more and more, because we heard Raquel mention Defcon again to Kanan, where she mentioned that Defcon tested her at first by making her start at the bottom, and it was more of a test to see if she would listen and follow orders. Now KP the G's comment got me thinking, and I really wouldn't be surprised to see if Detective Howard was one of the last man standing, and he tied into the whole story of the Power universe, because he's selfish, he's dark, and he's always doing what's best for himself, and ultimately he's someone who could wriggle his way out of any given situation by playing both sides of the law and using his position of power with the law and with the streets. Detective Howard really does have the best of both worlds. He can play perfectly with his cunning ways. So that's my opinion on watching Detective Howard after episode 2. So that was your guys' thoughts on what went down with some of the main key points in the episode, which was more surrounding Lulu's kill of D-Wiz. But I want to know something. Do you guys think D-Wiz's brother could be Breeze? That's one of the main questions that I want you guys to answer in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think down below. And let me know what you guys think about the points raised with Marvin and Lulu as well. Drop all your thoughts and comments down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Universe related over the coming months. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.